Hi all, Loz D Punch Out TV. Hope you're well out there. So it's fight week this week. Can't frigging wait. Sorry if I sound like I've got a peg on my nose, but I'm laid up again. I'm always laid up just lately. But anyway, it's fight week. Uh, some cracking fights on this card. Cannot wait for it. But I want to talk quickly about one of the fights for me, which could be probably the best fight of the night. Definitely up there with the main event, but it's Fabio Wardley versus Frazer Clarke 2. The first fight was an absolute barn burner of a fight, a definite candidate for Fight of the Year, and probably British Fight of the Year for me. But they're running it back, Big Frazer and Fabio Wardley. Now, the first fight, I could rock with it being a draw. And to be honest, I'm glad it was a draw because I like both of these guys and we got the chance to see it again. But I've been watching bits and bobs of them over the last couple of weeks. Not so much Fabio Wardley, but I've been watching quite a lot more of Frazer Clarke because leading into the first fight, I had Wardley to stop Frazer Clarke. I just thought Frazer Clarke wasn't as good as what I thought he was going to be, but he completely showed me what a different fighter he is, and that when he needs to turn it on or go to the trenches, he's willing to do that. So I watched The Gloves Are Off with Sky and Johnny Nelson, and there was, as they were talking away, Johnny asked Fabio Wardley, like, what if he takes you to the trenches again, into deep waters? And Fabio Wardley said, I go into deep waters, it's what I do. I go in there when I don't need to. And that sort of stuck in my head as like a bit of a wrong way to think about things, because why would you want to go into deep waters when you don't have to? And he just seemed, in the interviews, he just seemed that he's just not going to change. He's going to, his style, he's just going to keep coming forward, low guard, looking for the big punch. Now, both of these guys were blowing out the arse in that last fight because none of them had been taken to the distance. But Wardley showed me and Frazer that they were both prepared to go into deep waters. I think Frazer collapsed at the end of the fight. But when he said that, Frazer Clarke made something what stuck out to me. He said, if you're not going to change and you're not going to adapt after that first fight, he said, I'm telling you now, you're getting knocked out. And I thought to myself, so that's telling me that Frazer is adapting himself, and I'm going to come to that in a minute. He's looking at adapting, and he's obviously got the game plan ready for Wardley if he doesn't adapt. Now, for me, I watched an interview with Frazer Clarke and Lennox Lewis, and they were talking about the up-and-coming fight, and then Lewis did a little bit of pad work with him, and Lewis was telling me about using the jab. And Frazer actually asked him about the jab, because he was saying that your jab didn't come from all the way back, and your hooks, they were sort of like just in front of you. And Lennox was saying, yeah, that's because the closer it is, the better. And he was telling him about speed of the jab, the double jab. The power will come. Don't look for the power in the jab. Look for the speed in the jab. And Lennox was saying every great heavyweight had a good jab. And it just looked to me like Frazer was saying as well after the fight. He says, I don't normally watch myself, back after fights. He said, but because I was that disappointed in letting him get into the fight, that he took it to a draw, that he felt like he had to watch it back so many times to see where he had gone wrong, and he was what he needed to change. And that for me is a key point. What I'm trying to say, if I can get this out right, it seems to me. Now I'm not saying that Fabio Wardley hasn't changed, but I can almost guarantee he's going to come out doing the same stuff, hands low, swinging big bombs, relying on his chin because he's got a great chin, and looking for the big knockout. Whereas obviously, and he hasn't got the background boxing like Fabio Wardley, like Frazer Clarke, should I say. But for me, it seems to me that off the interviews and bits and bobs what I've watched of him, that Frazer Clarke has changed or has tried to change to where he went wrong in the first fight. Now, for me, it's an hard fight to call because you got Fabio Wardley, who's like a pressure, really puts you under pressure. When he gets hit and he gets cut or something, he goes in like psycho mode. It revs him up even more. He really likes, I don't know if he likes the pain, but I shouldn't imagine he likes the pain, but I don't know. It seems to be when Fabio gets cut or gets hit with a few big bombs, he sort of like just goes through the gears dead quick, puts a lot of pressure on you. He's a hard hitter, and more or less knocked everyone out who he's fought or put them down. So that's very tough to try and get that sort of fighter off you. But for me, it looks like obviously Frazer is more technically gifted than Fabio because of the amateur background and stuff. But seems to me like Frazer wants to work on his stamina because that's a big problem for Frazer Clarke because he's such a big guy. But saying that, he managed to get through to the end of the fight. But will he lose a bit of weight and have that extra power, extra gas in the tank? But it seems to me like Frazer's working on using his jab, his movement more, and stuff like that. It's an absolute cracking fight. I can't wait for it. But for me, I'm gonna pick Frazer Clarke to stop him this time. I honestly think that Frazer will be looking to use the jabs, wear him down, and then catch him coming in with the big rights. And I think because Fabio Wardley has got a non-existent defence, it's only a matter of time before he gets clocked off a fighter who can bang, and I think he's out of there. Very similar to Joe Joyce. I'm not saying style-wise, but the way how they fight, he relies on his chin too much and his big right hands. And I just think this time, I think it's going to be a big mistake. And like Frazer said, if you haven't learned from that first fight and changed, he says, I guarantee you getting knocked out. Whether or not it happens, I don't know. But I am actually, this time, I'm going for Frazer Clarke. Late stoppage, round 10, knockout. I think he catches him this time. And I think Frazer will be a different fighter. I think they'll both be hungry, but I just think Frazer has adapted or tried to adapt, whereas I think Fabio hasn't. And I think he's going to be eating that jab, right hand, time after time, before the concrete starts to crack, and then eventually it crumbles. Let me know what you think, who you think will win, how do you see the fight going. And absolutely, like I say, good luck to both men. I absolutely like both of these guys. And I'm going for Big Frazer as well, because he's only down the road from me. He's only about half an hour drive from where I live, so 45 minutes. So I'm going to go for the lad from Burton. I'm going to go for Frazer Clarke, round 10, knockout. Peace out, and I'll catch you very soon with another video. Peace out.